Okay, so we'll discuss about the HANA configuration. So, which means in the HANA Studio, if you see, we have the configuration tab. So, what does it mean? Why we have to use this configuration tab? So, configuration tab is changing the HANA system parameters, all right? Custom modification. By default, you will get the default settings from SAP, right? So, but after that, if you want to change your own configuration, you need to change so you have to go to the configuration tab. Then we can do the changes of this INI files, right? Suppose this is the index server. You can see index server data, INI, script server data, INI, global data, INI, common for all the all the system DB or tenant DBs. And same as like here, so in the system DB also, you have the more number of processor available here, right? So in the system, if we want to change the any parameters or anything, so here system DB is the, sorry, here configuration tab in the HANA Studio, configuration tab is the very important. Here we will do the all the changes here. Here we will do the all the changes related to the your HANA database. Suppose if we want to change the memory values, CPU values, so sizes, location, changes, anything you want to change it, right? So here, this is the place in the configuration tab. This is the place here we will do the all the changes. This is the place we will do the changes in the system here, the configuration tab here. Suppose normally, if any changes, sometimes suppose if you are doing some parameter changes, right? Here we need to change we need to perform the changes in INA files parameters. The parameters in the INA files here, parameters in the INA files here, right? Parameters in the INA files, we have to do the some changes here, right? So let's open configuration tab, right? Here we have to do the some changes in the INA files. Some changes in the INA files, we have to do some changes here, right? So these changes, like suppose like so DP server, diamond server related INA file. Every process there is a INA file is available here. So name server dot INA files. In this INA files, it contains the parameters. It contains the system parameters here. System parameter values here. Parameter and their values are available here, parameter and their values are available here, which means, so if you do the changes here, immediately it will be reflected, immediately that will be reflected here. Suppose like if you want to do some changes in the web dispatcher, then if you expand it, there is some entries are there. So these entries we have to change it here. So there are a lot of entries are, so how can we remember all those things? Means you no need to remember anything, just only need to remember about where to change the HANA parameters. In the configuration tab, INA files, we have to do the changes here. Like what are the parameters here, right? There the law. So n number of parameters are there in the HANA database, right? So then how can we know which parameters we have to change it here? So based upon the SAP suggestion or your senior colleagues will tell you what parameters we have to change it, all the information they will provide. So based on that, so we have to do the changes in our systems here. We have to do changes in our systems here. Suppose the most frequently the changed parameters are memory parameters. Suppose like memory parameters here. Memory parameters means, so to restrict the memory usage, unlimited usage. We want to restrict it. Why? Because this HANA process will use how much memory is there. HANA parameters will use that much of HANA process will use that much of memory. If you have the 100 GB, it will use the 100 GB. If you have the 120 GB, it will use the 120 GB memory. If you have the 1 GB, it will use the 1 GB memory, right? But I don't want to use out of 100 GB, I don't want to use the 100 GB. I want to use only 180 GB. Then in this case, we can restrict it. The memory parameters, we can restrict it here by changing the memory values here. Suppose like, so global underscore, so allocation underscore and global allocation limit. right? Statement memory limit. There are the some common parameters. So we have to change it. So global allocation limit. Then second one is the statement statement allocation, statement memory limit here, right? So global allocation, statement memory limit, there are the parameters are there here. Suppose if you don't know this parameter name, here there is a filter here, right? Here there is a filter. Just if you type it here, the global something like that, it will give you the all the information. See here, whenever you type it back and it will execute the one SQL statement to give the results here. It will execute the on SQL statement, it will give the results here, right? So that SQL statement, it will execute it. So then it will give you the results here. So in the global, right? Suppose like allocation, if you put one more filter, global allocation limit, then you will get the global data and in the memory manager, you have the allocation limit set to the 0, which means allocation limited to 0 means unlimited. 0 means unlimited, it will use it here, right? Unlimited, it will use it here. Suppose suppose if you set the 20 GB, 20 GB means into MB. So suppose like 2000 you set and save it, right? If you save it to 20 GB, you set it out and save it here, right? So 2000 means it's 21024 only, right? Oh, it's very less. 2000 means it's a 2 GB only you set. So definitely this will create the problem. So because 2 GB means it's a very less for ANA. So definitely it will create the problem here. So we need to change the 20,000 means 20 GB, 20 into 1024 MB. So which means 20,000 plus it should come, right? So that values we have to set it out. That value we have to set it out here, right? That value. See here, it will create the problem, right? You can see here, it's creating the problem. Allocation limit is creating the problem here. It's already used more than 2 GB. So that's why just set the 20,000, just save it here. So this will save, right? This will save here. Cannot out of memory on the query compilation. So it's out of memory, right? Out of memory means you already set the less. You already set the already 2 GB only you said. 2 GB means it's a very less. So that's the reason it's not saving. It's not saving here. So current used memory, it's already down. You can see HANA database is down. HANA down due to cannot allocate the memory out of memory on the query compilation, which means it's down. HANA is down currently. HANA is down currently here. So the thing is which you said that is wrong. That is wrong here. Right? So that's why if you change the some parameters, you need to do the restarts. Some parameters we don't require to restart it here. Some parameter, if we need to do the restart, some parameter we need to do the restarts here. So that is what we have to do it in the systems here. So how can we know? So which parameters? HANA parameter changes. HANA parameter changes. So we can perform from HANA Studio configuration tab. In the configuration tab, in the whatever the parameters we have to change it, just to give the filter condition here. In the filter name, just to put the parameter name. Filter name, just you can put the parameter name, do the changes here. Whatever the value, desired value, you can do the changes here, right? Desired value, we can do the changes here. It's already changed. So now you can see you changed it already, system is down. Automatically it went down. Means it's not the correct value. You changed it here, right? That is the wrong now. So that is the wrong. So there is a one more way to change it here, operating system level. So when I discuss with the file system level, that time I can inform you so how to change it and all those things in the operating system level, right? So here, suppose like we change it in the RK1, right? Connect to the RK1 ADM.
Sorry, can you please increase the size a little bit?
Okay.
Thank you, Ravi.
So RKR ADM. RKR. Why? Because studio level it's down. We cannot connect it from studio. Why? Because if the HANA is down, we cannot connect from the studio or anywhere. We cannot connect it here. Since HANA is down here. HANA is down here. So we cannot connect it here. So what I'm doing here, let me check the status here. So due to the wrong changes in the parameter value, wrong value in the parameter value, ANA is down. Your ANA database process all are so down here. There is a wrong value here. So it's not coming up. So here it is showing. Maybe it got restarted, I think here, right? It got restarted. It will restart it actually. It will restart it in the systems here, right? So it will restart it. All the process will be restarted. So now I think here it is show. Let me check here. It's a out of memory allocated. Reason, so cannot allocate the enough memory. So allocation failed. Why? Because only 2 GB we said. It's already 9 GB it is using. Already 9.90 GB it's already using 10 GB. If you set the 2 GB, then immediately you cannot connect it. It is very less frequency. So by mistakenly we did it this one, right? So see here. So ANA system is not available now. So in that case, operating system level, we can do the changes here. Operating system level, so we can do the changes. So we have the operating system level class. So that time I can explain it. For now, you go to the sys global HDB custom so config. So here in this here we have the so global.ini file is there. Just now we changed it. So go to the VI editor. That's why we discussed about the VI editor, right? VI editor. Here, in the VI editor, so here global allocation limit, right? Whatever you done the changes here, here you have the information is available here. Global allocation limit here. So that's why we discussed about this VA editor as well. Why? Because to change the parameter value, so we have this one here, right? So then, okay. So now HDB stop, restart the database. So how can we know which one is required restart, which database is required the restart, and which parameter is required the restart, which parameter is not required. Normally, if you do the any system settings, definitely you need to do the system restarts. Even your mobile phone also sometimes some settings is required the restart, right? We have to do the restart. Sir, how can we know which parameter do the restart and everything here? So for this first purpose, SAP given the so one standard note to the customers. So here you have the multiple ways you can check it out. Multiple ways we can check it out here. So there is a, if you go to the help site from the HANA, suppose like if you go to the help site, help.com. So suppose like if you go to the help site, help.sap.com here just you can put the parameter name here. What are the parameter you are going to change it here? These all are the hundreds of parameters. So we cannot remember all the thousands of lakhs of and tons of parameters here. Why? Because so it's very hard to remember. So SAP will give you as part of the early watch analysis or to fix the issues. SAP, when you contact the SAP will tell you you need to you need to maintain this value parameter value in our HANA system. So then we have to maintain it here. We have to maintain it here, but we are not sure whether it's required the restart or not. Why? Because some settings will not immediately affect. We need to do the restart. Then we can just go to this site here. One method is the help.sap.com here, global underscore allocation underscore so limit. If you set this, if you type it, you will get the parameter name, right? Just select the parameter name here, right? Just select the parameter name here. Here you will get the information like what is this parameter, global allocation limit. What is the global allocation limit? It sets the allocation limit in the MB percentage, right? default 0, which means entire memory will be used here. So entire memory will be used here. So 90% to 97 it will be used here. So here you can see the restart required false, which means we don't require to do the restarts. So restart is not required. If you do the some parameter changes here, so this parameter change, restart is not required. Restart is not required here, right? So some parameters, you can see the parameter list of parameters here. Restart required, false. Restart required, false. So it will be impacted immediately here. Restart required something called the true. Then so we need to do the restart of the our SAP systems. Restart of the our SAP system here. Almost all parameters are. So it will say like restart is required. Restart is required. Some parameters are restart is required. See here, this parameter TCP/L gateway idle timeout. So this parameter is not is required. Restart required true. Okay, this restart required true. So definitely we need to do the restart. Some parameters true. See here true, which means a restart is required means you need to restart the your HANA database. You need just restart means stop, then just click just execute the HDB start. So HDB stop, HDB start, your HANA database will be started status. Your HANA database will be started status here. Like that, we need to stop and start the HANA database. Right. So this is the one way to check whether it's restart required or not. There is a parameter reference here. Restart is required true or false. We can check it out here. Right. So there are multiple ways, but this is the best way. You don't require any knowledge. Just you can just open the SAP standard site. Then in the standard site here, just you can put the parameter name value. Just click on the enter. Then it will give you the information whether restart is required. Well, because sometimes your manager may ask you, so can you check these parameters restart is required or not? Then in this case, you need to go to the this help.com, sap.help.com here. So from here, we need to do the all kind of work here. Here we need to do the all kind of work. We have to perform it in the systems here, right? So this is the way we can find out whether restart is required. So how we will get these parameters? We have to change it means. So either as part of the troubleshooting, or SAP will inform, or we will come to know as part of the debugging. So saying that this parameter value is wrongly configured, we need to change it to fix the issues. Then we have to change the value of that parameter, right? So where to change any system configuration related things in the HANA Studio. In the HANA Studio, we have to change it here. In the HANA Studio, so we have to change all the parameter values. We have to change it here in the studio level. Go to the configuration tab. In the configuration tab, we have to change it here. The configuration tab. So we have to change it here. So now it is starting mode. Now it is starting mode here, right? So that's why now we are able to open the here, right? So this is the way. So we have to carefully change the parameter value here. Something wrong. So then suppose like TCP alive timeout parameter. If you don't know full parameter name, just type the filter condition, something like TCP or whatever the keyword, you can type it here. That related parameters values will be displayed here. That related the parameter values will be displayed here. So you can, what we can do, we can check it out whether that parameter is restart is required or not. If the parameter is not required the restart, then so we can have, if not required the restart, what we can do, so we can no need to restart it. If the parameter is required to do the restart, then we can do the restart. We can do the restart of the parameter value. That's what we have to do it in the our systems now. Yeah. Okay. The configuration tab. Configuration of the HANA parameters. With changes of the HANA parameters has to perform from HANA Studio configuration tab. HANA Studio configuration tab here. So this OS level also we can perform it in the worst case scenario. In the worst case scenario, in the operating system level also we can perform it. That I will inform. So when to perform and everything. Why? Because we have the one special class on the operating system level. So that time where to check the logs and everything, that time I can inform. Okay. So this is about the configuration. tab here. Okay. So next one is the any parameter here, global data and index server related parameter changes, name server related settings if you want to do, preprocessor data and parameters. So anything you want to change it, the respective INI file is there. You need to go to the INI file. There you need to change the values. There you need to change the values here, INI files, right? Each process, each HANA process, there is a respective INI file or is to controlling parameter. This will control it, right? This INI parameters will control it here, right? Suppose like global data INI, global data INI, so name server data INI parameters. So this will control. This will control it here. This will control it. These parameters will get control it here. You can see TCP if I type it, how many parameters we get it here. Just we can change the value. Like suppose there is a requirement to change this value 200 to just 250. Then just you can change the value. Click on the save button here. So the value will get changed here. The value will get changed here. But the effect, the immediately it won't affect sometimes. Why? Because due to the nature of that parameter. If the nature of parameter is to restart the system, then TCP keep alive time. So TCP keep alive timelines here. TCP keep alive time. So that parameter is required the restart. So yes, the value is equal to true. That we can the value is equal to true. That restart is required. The value equal to true, then restart is required here. So like that, we need to do the parameter changes in the database level here. Normally, rare
Sir,
cases we will do the changes.
yeah. Hi, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if someone have accidentally changed the parameters, how can we know like which parameter is changed like that? Do we have some logs or
OS level
like?
only we can identify what changes have been done. Previously, we have seen right here. So we have seen previously. So there is a that log files only we have to check. Manually, we have to go to the INA files. We can do the INA files and what value they have changed, we can see it. Otherwise, if you open the audits, if you open it, audit logs, so then we can find out who changed it, what changed it here. That's why it's a dangerous to change the values everybody. So that's why so people will give you only to the seniors to change the parameter values and everything here. If you wrongly change it, it will affect the database performance. And also, so if you wrongly change it, sometimes system will go down, it will not come up. So carefully, you have to do the change.
Sir, CD Pro and CD-EXE we log it usually for parameter changes.
CD Pro
What,
means
how,
directory profile directory. It will directly jump into the profile directory here. That is the SAP level profile directory. This is the HANA level. HANA level profile directory. Directly you have to go to either HDB custom config, either this location. This location it will tell you when was the parameters got changed, today's date. So this value, if you open it, then it will give you the information. Right? This way we can find out for the HANA database level. So otherwise, if you open the audit logs, we can open it. That CD Pro, whatever you were telling, that is the SAP level profile parameter changes.
okay, so for application host parameters are different and DB host parameters are different.
Yeah, definitely. Both are different, right? That is the application, this is the different. Both, yes, definitely both are different parameters. Both are not same. Application
Okay,
specific,
and
SAP level we will set. DB specific parameters in the configuration tab we will set.
okay, in DB02, sorry, in RZ11 only SAP level parameters we can set, right? Then,
Yes.
okay, sir.
RZ10, RZ11 is for the SAP level. So database level configuration tab, we can change the only DB level parameters.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Next one is the configuration tab. So configuration tab is for configure. Sorry, next one is the system information. So from here onwards, very simple. This one. So only here important thing is here performance tab and a configuration tab and a landscape tab. This three and overview tab. These four parameters. OL, So PS. So these four are very important parameters here, right? PCS, PC, OLPC. So which means here overview tab, landscape tab, we can see the list of process, HANA process started or not, how much memory we are using and everything. Alerts, critical alerts will be displayed here. What is the alerts and everything here? It will be displayed, and also you will also get the email in case of you configure it here. Then system information. System information tab. Information means just only will give you the information. Suppose in your system, there the some informations are available. In your system, you want to check the cache, shows the cache. Right click means just to, it will only check the information. Right click and execute it. It will give you the results. Right click and execute it. It will give you the results here. Right click and execute. It will give you the results. What is the size? How many caches we have here? And what is the used size? What is the entry count? What is the all the information will be all the all the information will be displayed here. All the information will be displayed in this caches here. Means reports. It kind of reports purpose. We have the system information. In your system, if you need how many sessions are opened. Sessions means in the performance tab, we have the sessions. So you need to go right click and here just execute it. The value will be executed. The value will be displayed here. The value will be displayed here. Right? The value will be displayed here. So the value is displayed. Then we can save it. We can save it in the text file or XML file or wherever what text file we can save it. Then we can provide the report to the our management. So whoever asked it here, right? So like that, system related any details if you need, go to the system information. Suppose your manager asked you, so how many what is the memory? What is the memory for each table? How many tables are there? In each table, what is the size it is used here, right? It will give you the information here. It will give you the information here. Then in this case, we can just right click on the used memory by tables. Then you will get the list of size, how much memory it is used and everything here. Then we can provide this report to the your management here. So just providing the some reports here. So instead of going to the each and every tab, writing the queries and finding out, we can finding out here, we can get the how much usually store for the column tables, how much usually for the row store tables here. That information will get displayed here. That information will get displayed in the systems here. That information will be displayed here, right? So that is the one thing here. So like that, we can find out the informations. So just overall workload. Your manager asks overall workload. You don't know what is how to check it out. Then if you execute it here, so the information will be displayed. If you execute it here, the overall workload here, that information will be displayed here. That information will be displayed in the system. Overall workload. What is the execution count? What is the compilation count? You got the some information here, right? Overall memory. What is the memory? This is still executing here, right? So like that, we can provide the information from our system. Information from our system here, right? Overall information here, right? Overall information we can provide it here in the system here, right? So this is the system information tab here. System information tab here means it will provide the some information about the our existing system. Instead of going to the each and every tab, sub tabs, just to go to the system information, whatever the persons are asking, then we can get the report. We can save into the one notepad or an Excel something, then we can provide the information. Okay. Then diagnosis files. So yes.
Maybe here we have the this HANA mini checks, right?
Yeah, HANA mini checks also we can execute it. This is called the mini checks. So which means, so it's not the mini checks. Mini checks also part of the system information only. Or if you want to execute the query, we can also execute the query here. You can check it out, whatever the information you have, it's there here, right? Suppose like you are checking something like mini check, something database information you are looking, what is the database connection statistics. So what is the, you have any information you require, just right click and you can click it out. So something you are looking for mini checks that is not exist here. Then that is available as a query, SQL query. That SQL query we have to execute it. Then it will check the all the information and everything. It will check it out. So you can just right click on the, so here just open the SQL console. Here we can write the queries. Write the queries here. So you no need to write it here, queries already available. So then just you can copy and paste it here, execute it here, copy and paste and execute it here. So then, so you will get the results here. You will get the results from the database level here. So some SAP, some important things they have already given here. So right, so they have already predefined SQL statements they have already given here. So here you no need to, just you can execute it. That's it. If you open an SQL query, the SQL query opened. Normally you need to write the SQL query. You have to execute it. Then the details, the results will be showed. The results will be showed here. So this is the SQL statement actually, right? For that to get the connections, this is the SQL statement here. But you no need to write the SQL statement here. Just what we can do, we can right click, execute, then that SQL statement will be executed. You will get the results saying that this is the connection statistics. This many connections are open. What is the client host? What is the client IP? So all the information will be displayed here in this case, right? This is the connection. Okay. So this is the connection statistics client information. So that is the one. So diagnosis files means, so log files here. Every process in the HANA database, it will write the one log file here. But because we are not sure how the index server is behaving, like how the name server is behaving, how the preprocessor, compiler, web dispatcher, access engines are behaving here. We need to check. Suppose like the users, they are saying that HANA system is slowness, HANA index server is using the high memory. All those things we need to check it out. In that case, so in this case, we need to check what's happening with the HANA data, why the index server got restarted, why the name server got restarted, why web dispatcher got restarted, right? So here, what we can do here we can go to the, so here we can go to the, so suppose example, if you see here HANA process, suppose like you can see index server using the most of the CPU here, and also memory also is red. Memory also coming green only, but it's using more, right? CPU utilization is red here, right? We need to check here what is went wrong. Logs, log files here. Trace log files, traces. Something wrong, we need to check this log files here. If it is, suppose like if it is the index server, there is a index server dot trace files are available. If it is the access engine dot trace files are available. So we need to open the latest timestamp of log files we have to open. We need to open the latest timestamp of the log files we have to open. Then here we can, here the log will be displayed here. Log will be displayed here. So we can check it out what went wrong, why this went wrong. Here all the information will be displayed here. All the information will be displayed here. You can see, so what's went wrong, why this is causing the issue. Each and everything will be written into the log file here. So this is very much useful here. Whatever the queries were putting, you got the memory issues, you got the how much memory issue, how much total issue here. So all the information will be written here. So global allocation, how much you set it out previously, the allocation got failure, it got failure. So each and everything, if you set in the, so in the console level you set it out, but you are not sure, but you sure like no one seen the changes what I have done it, but the thing will be recorded in the backend of the log files here. The thing will be recorded in the backend and log files. The thing will be recorded in the backend log files here. Right. So if you see here, it will clearly give you the details here. Who changed it, what changed it here, who did the changes. It will give you the some information in the systems here. It will give you the some information in the systems here. These log files will be helpful to fix the issues here. These log files will helpful to fix the issues here. This log files will helpful to fix the issues in the system here, right? So these all are the log files. So diagnosis files. Suppose like if we have some diagnosis, when we visit the doctor, doctor will not immediately tell you what is the what went wrong, and so he will write this some diagnosis reports, right? He will ask the diagnosis report, some testings, then we will take that some testing, he will review the logs, in which he will review the test cases. So then he will come to know conclusion, right? Same as like here also, immediately the why the index server is running from long time, so very ICP utilization means what went wrong, why the index server got restarted. So that's we cannot tell it by seeing the screen, right? We need proofs, right? We need proofs means logs. So by checking these logs, diagnosis logs, then we can say, okay, this is the issue. Sir, I can only see two logs here, index server and an access engine. What about the name server, preprocessor, all those things? Those are available in the diagnosis files tab. So systemdb of diagnosis files. Systemdb related log files are available here. Tenetdb. Systemdb means we have the name server, daemon, preprocessor, web dispatcher, access engine, compile server are there. So all the process related log files are available here. So here we can see the log files, what went wrong. Suppose like if you open the preprocessor, if you open the name server, if you open the web dispatcher, it related log files will be displayed. The log files will be displayed here. Okay, the related log file will be displayed. Suppose if you open the web dispatcher, so why the web dispatcher down? Something like what happening with my web dispatcher. So what's happening in the system? All the information will be written. By checking these log files, you will get the some clues why it went wrong and all the information. Then we can find out some information what went wrong and everything here. Okay. So that is the web dispatcher. So log files here. That is the log files related information in the system here. Diagnosis files log. So this is the most frequently, normally whenever the HANA system slowness or HANA issues or index server issues or name server issues here, having the out of memory issues or everything, this is the place we will come to here, diagnosis files. We will check what is the process is using the high memory or high background jobs, high CPU. Then we can open the related log file here. We can find out what went wrong, which user causing the issue. So we can find out here, right? So this is the diagnosis files tab here. So in case of these logs are not enough, not enough means it's not recorded what went wrong and everything. You need more logs. Then go to the trace configuration. In the trace configuration, we can find out the more traces. We can by default database trace will be enabled. You want to find out the SQL trace. You want to find out the performance trace. You want to find out the some other traces or anything, we can find out. SQL statement means, so what are the SQL statements are executed in the database level? So that SQL statements trace, we can enable it here. That SQL statement traces. The tabs are covered each and every. So as a systemdb at tenetdb, the tabs are common here. The tabs are common here, right? So here you can see, suppose you want to change you want to do some changes in the user specific trace, right? Suppose you want to configure the performance trace here, right? Suppose we want to enable the SQL statement trace here. Just click on the SQL statement trace edit button. So then we can enable the trace. Now it's inactive. To get the more logs, we can activate it here, right? So then expensive statement trace, right? Enable the trace. Suppose uh, there is a performance issue, slowness, then just we can enable the performance trace here, right? Just click on the change button here. Then it will ask you want to activate or not. Just want to activate or not, you can change it here. You can change it here, right? So that is the one thing here. That is the one thing here. Just you can activate the tracing here. Finish. Right, so the percentage is getting increased now. The percentage is getting increased now here. So then traces will be active. The trace will be active. The respective logs will be collected. The logs will be available in the the logs will be available in the diagnosis files here. Logs will be available in the, so diagnosis logs will be available in the diagnosis files here. All right. So that this is the trace configuration. Sometimes, so the existing logs are not enough, or existing logs are not giving the some information. Could you please collect the more logs by going to the trace configuration, activate the trace and collect the more traces, then provide the logs, right? So that time we can go to the trace configuration. That time we can go to the trace configuration here. Then we can provide the more logs. That is called the trace configuration here. This is called the trace configuration. Okay, that is called the trace configuration activities here, right? So suppose sometimes you need to investigate the expensive SQL statements, which mean sometimes in the database level, they are the long running queries will be executed by the users. You are not sure who executed what query, how much it is causing the issue. So system will go down. So that time, if you enable this trace, if you keep on these traces, what will happen? If you keep on these traces, this will collect the information. It will tell you. So like previously someone asked, right, sir, how can we know what changes executed by someone and who executed, what is the query and everything, right? So then if you enable this SQL statement tracing, then it will give you the some information. We can analyze the results on the what went wrong and everything. We can analyze it here. We can analyze it here. All the information we can analyze it here, right? So this is the information. SQL statement trace here, right? So something like that kernel, someone they will ask the plant trace, profile trace, any traces collections, just blindly you can go. So any trace collections, you have to go to the trace configuration. From there, you can use this trace performance tab, trace collection tab. You can use it here, okay, to collect the more logs. So by default, the default logs will be created. But the default sometimes the error information will be not tracked because of some configuration. That time you can activate the more traces. Normally, people will activate only these traces. So expensive statement traces, they will activate it. Only this one we can activate it. So that is the, so that we can check it out. All right. So sometimes SQL statements, SQL trace, expensive long running statements. Database level, each and everything will be a long running statement here. Database level, everything will be a long running SQL statements here, right? In that case, the statement we can track it, who executed, what they executed, how much memory, so it is executed, they have it consumed. So is it so all the information it will be tracked here. All the information will be tracked here, right? It is called the expensive statement trace, performance trace here, right? So SQL trace. So these all are the traces here, collection of the traces here. So if someone asks you, so I want to collect the more traces, where can I go ahead and collect it? Then go to the trace configuration of the HANA Studio. You can enable the traces, you can collect it. So I want to review the existing traces. Go to the diagnosis files. Then we can check the whatever the traces are there here. We can collect it here in the diagnosis files. So you can collect the more traces here, right? I want to change the system parameters and everything. Where can I change it? Go to the configuration tab. There, select the respective file. You can change it here, right? So I want to check the, I want to analyze it. Also, the alerts, system alerts or anything. So go to the alerts tab. We can check the are the database related, any alerts, database down or errors or anything. It will give you the information. It will give you the information in the system here, right? This is the alerts tab here. So this is about the HANA Studio, all the tabs here, right? The mainly here overview tab, landscape tab, performance tab, configuration tab, diagnosis files tab. These tabs are very, very, very important. In case of if any issues comes, then we have to come to, so these pages, these tabs, we have to check all the information and everything. We need to check it out, the all the information, everything here, right? In case of if any issues here, in case of any issues, we have to come to here, we need to check it out, right? So suppose like CPU information is running. If you go to the alerts tab, then only we will come to know CPU is running of the more than memory, right? Like that, we can check it out the all the information. When you go to the landscape tab, then only we will come to know, okay, CPU utilization is the so more it is using the more utilization, more CPU utilization is using here. You will get more information here, right? So that's why if you open the studio, if you connect to the database, if you go inside, then only you will come to know all the information. Then we should know what are the things we can see and each and everything. That is the very important. Trace configuration, now. If any traces you want to collect it, then if you want to activate it, then we can see it in the trace configuration here, right? Suppose if you want to check the existing logs, if you want to review it, then diagnosis files, right? Error logs will be displayed, we can check it out, right? You want to check the system performance and everything, performance tab, alerts, overview tab. So this kind of things we can check it out in the our HANA database side here. Okay, this is about the studio administration, right? In the next class, I will explain about the what is about the HANA license, how to apply the HANA license here, what is the delta merge, how is the save point interval, how to execute the HANA SQL queries, statements. So all those things I can explain it here. The more topics will come in the upcoming classes here. Okay. So you can just practice it, all those things today, and stop and start and all those things here. So then tomorrow we'll go with the some other interesting topics like delta merge, save point, what will happen in the back end when you compile the query or execute the statements. So that we'll discuss.